Hey guys, welcome back to Wrenching with Rob. Today is going to be I guess it's going to be part like 3 or 4 or 5 or something of how, or will it start on my 73 CJ-5 project that we were working on with the head and all that other crazy stuff. So somewhere along the way, I lost a whole bunch of footage, and I believe the last footage I do have is where we were trying to start it after we had replaced the head and the ignition and all that other stuff, and it was sounding pretty bad, and I was like, well, I'll have to get back to you on this one. So we lost all of that. We're getting back into it now. Obviously we're a little further along where I lost all my video, and it is running now. So what we're going to do now is a cold start, and then I'll go back into what went wrong. So here's a cold start. We'll turn you around a little bit, maybe angle it down some. I don't know, hopefully you can see some stuff here. We'll take it out of gear. Move the choke way back here now because I filled in. Whoops, better turn off the radio. We don't want to get in trouble for copyright infringement or something crazy. Filled in a bunch of the holes on the dash where there was like 8,000 screws and nuts and switches and crap that just didn't really need to belong. And then I filled in too many and forgot the choke. So choke's back here now. Pull that down. Hopefully this doesn't shake you to death. I might better reposition you a little bit, so in case it does get a little wild. You know, this big 6-cylinder's got a lot of power. I wouldn't want it to throw you off the seat here. So hopefully it does start. Maybe I should pump it once. It is an older one. All right, let's pump it a couple more times and hope that it starts. Okay, so it's been a while. It's a little crabby. Maybe it's out of fuel. Hope not. We'll pump it a bunch. Hey, look at that. Just a little cold-blooded. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it is running. We'll slow her down a little bit. We're really going fast right now. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the old speedometer meter shows us doing like 60 miles an hour. So probably going to have to do a little modification on that. But the rest of the stuff's working. You see our, let's see if you guys can see that. Our alternator, the device must be working because we're pushing out more than we started with. We got some oil pressure there. That's always a good sign to keep it running. Our fuel gauge shows we got a little bit of gas, and then our speedometer says we're doing a really fast pace right now. But if you look outside, we're really not going at all. So anyway, continuing. Tachometer reads engine's running quick, so we'll slow her down a little bit. Our key says we're going really quick too. So we'll put her down to an idle so we can hear. So I think I'm going to put a link in there, or I already did, and you guys watched it, how horrible it was running. It's running a lot better now. We're sitting about maybe 600 RPM, maybe 7 or so, according to the old Sun Super Tac 2. And I think it's doing pretty good. We turn our turn signals on. We still got turn signals working. That's always a good thing. Our oil pressure is still holding at 60. It is cold though. And I say cold, we're in Florida and it's like 50 degrees, so don't hate. Our horn's still going. We got the old Willie's horn on this one. We got heater control. Wipers are still in op, but if you're driving this in the rain, you probably got more problems, being that there's no top on it anyway. So, but it is running. We're going to take it out for a spin here in a little bit, but I'd first like to show you what happened and what went wrong. So we'll turn it all off, and I'll open up the hood, and I'll bring you back when we get it all opened up. Okay, so we're back under the hood now. Hopefully the battery holds out. It's not very happy at the moment. So all this extra happiness you're seeing here is the painless wiring kits extra wires like under hood light on a Jeep, you know, electric fans, all that cool stuff that a lot of these other vehicles come with that we're just not going to use on this thing. So we called them up all pretty and put them in here and terminated the ends so that in the event that you want to run that stuff in the future, that it's there. So that's what all that extra is. We put a nice little firewall grommet in here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's back there. That's the original, but we wrapped it up real nice, put some extra grounds in there, made it all pretty in this black anti-chafe stuff so that it doesn't get all nasty. Coiled up the extra temperature sensor for the engine. The only wire we still have to hook up is this, if you can see that, this is the electronic temperature sensor that goes right on this little guy right up here in the front. So I still have to find a little push-on connector for that guy. We took out the extra fuel filters and fastened everything down so it's rigid now. Put that nice custom, if you can see my paw point right there, it didn't have an accelerator bracket. I guess it was just, you just didn't need it. So we put that guy on there, took out that angry bolt that was busted off, put a new accelerator cable on it. It's a little tight, but it works. And then we'll go over here to the other side. Got a brand new radiator sitting right there because this one has an angry neck spot right here. And I just don't feel like soldering it. We're going to put a new one in it, and that ought to cool for days. So on this side, you can see we wrapped up all of our wires. I left these ignition wires out. I guess you could probably put some go fast on them, but the factory didn't even have it. So the fact that we have it all replaced and nice and pretty is says enough. It's got a maximum fuse or maxi fuse or whatever. If you blow that thing, you got some big time problems going on there. I got new spark plugs and new wires, and when we ordered a distributor cap, they sent us a V8. I guess they thought we needed more cylinders, but that guy won't fit on there on the count of we only have a 6. Still got to change the oil filter and the oil in it, and we really want it to go fast in the radiator. So that's about the last things I'm going to do to this. So what went wrong? All right, so if I did this all right and you saw the clip of it running like angriness and dog poo, what happened here is the intake manifold and the exhaust manifold have all been apart because we were resealing all this down here and making it all pretty. And as you can see, we put some speed paint on there, so it really looks like it'll I'm not going to say the OGO fast because you guys are giving me grief about that. Well, let's just say it's less wind resistance. It's not as good as chrome. We have our chrome up here, but we put the paint on it anyway. So this, when we put it all back together, this is pretty heavy. And on the bottom down here is on the engine side of the house, there's a little pin that sticks out of the block right around here on the bottom, and then same somewhere back in there. It's there, trust me. And it's pretty heavy. So when you're bent over and holding and trying and the thing's on the lift and it's just everything is out of discombobulation and out of kilter, as grandma would say, it's very awkward to try to get all that stuff lined up. And I had it all lined up. I'm trying to start one of the 8,000 bolts to hold this thing on there, and somewhere in there that the front one decided it wasn't going to line up anymore. And between the intake gasket here and the exhaust gasket and the intake manifold and anyway, long story short is it jumped off that alignment peg, and I bolted her all back together and didn't realize that I had a pretty good gap going on between here and the engine. So whenever you have a massive vacuum like that, leak like that, it makes a lot of racket, and consequently it doesn't run right. Go figure. So after I cut the camera off on the last episode, I started playing around. You'll notice it would only run with a choke, or I don't remember if I filmed that or not, but either way, that tells you got a pretty good vacuum leak or your carburetor's all angry. So we started with the carburetor first, even though it did run. It needed it anyway. Cleaned up the carburetor, did all that happiness to it. Still ran like angriness. And sprayed a little starting fluid around the intake, and it magically picked up, telling me that there was a massive leak right there. Not to mention the fact that we didn't have the exhaust hooked up, so it was stupid loud. So it's kind of hard to discern a sucking chest wound, basically, if you want to say that, right in this area with the exhaust pouring out. So anyway, all of that, long story short, is we had an intake leak, resealed it all back up, and it just magically ran like a top. So we'll do a video of us driving around on it and see how it does here in a little bit. If I haven't already done a nice walk around on it, I think I have showed everybody all the magic that's going on with this thing. So we'll back around. Got it all customized on the back with brand new tail lights / brake lights, and then you got me doing it. Those brake lights right there. We've got I might have talked about this before. I wired in a side marker light for this side to match this side, but I forgot that this is an older Jeep, and it took me a while, but we figured it out that even though there's nothing here, there's supposed to be a spare tire holder there, and that old spare tire would just cover that right up. So I think Jeep actually decided that they didn't want a marker light there, and hence the reason why there's no indentation, no hole, no nothing. So that's why we don't have a light there, but we have it wired up. So I have to figure out what to do with that guy. Maybe make him into like a little cargo light. I don't know. Anyway, that's what's going on there. So we got it all set up. It's running. The last things, like I said before, we have to do is change out the radiator, and the windshield wipers are not working, as I stated. So I don't know if it's ground, but I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to just like move like that. You know, there's supposed to be some motor action stopping that from happening. So that's another thing. I might let the owner deal with that and let him figure it out, because as it stands now, I've done an awful lot of work to this thing. And if we just pan around the garage here, oh, there's a big project. There's a little project. We need to we need to do some work on some of this other stuff, like that one. But anyway, we'll flip this right back around. So thank you for hanging out with me, wrenching with Rob. We'll do a little clip after this of us driving it around. And again, I do appreciate it. I'm no expert, so don't take anything that I'm doing as the only way to do things. Please use your own judgment on that. And have a good day. Thank you. Okay, so we're back, and as promised, we're going to take this 73 CJ-5 out for a little drive after we've gotten it all tuned up, and today is actually the day we're going to load it up and send it back to its owner. So we'll bring you back in just a couple of minutes when we get all situated in the seat and take you for a ride. Okay, so we're back in it. We're going to do a cold start real quick, and hopefully it starts. It's been pretty cooperative lately. Quite a bit different from what it was in the first time we tried to start it, but we worked all the bugs out, or at least I think so anyway. So here goes cold start. Pull the choke out, turn the key neutral, even though I got the clutch in. Okay, well, like I said, whoop, better turn off the copyright infringement. We'll just turn it down. Running so far. We'll pull a little choke on it, make it run a little bit. It is 60 some degrees or 70, I don't know what temperature it is. Got pan over here, we got good oil pressure, got good volts. It's putting out again like more as we started with. We got, says that we have fuel, so we'll go from there. We'll turn on the lights just in case it gets it is a little dark outside, so let's put it in reverse and see if it'll back up. All right, easing it. It's running. Let's see if we can not hit the truck. Gotta do a quick brake check. Oh yeah, we got brakes. It's always a good thing. So let's see if we can do this without crunking anything. Oh, we're rolling. We're rolling. Take out the generator. Well, mirrors are a wonderful thing. All right, let's turn her around. And luck. Here we go. We're not going to go very fast because this thing only has 3 gears. And we have no license plates, no insurance. Nah, we don't need any of that stuff. Hey, I put the choke off and it's still going. So we'll wait for all the neighbors to go by. So if we have an issue, we can quickly pull off. There we go. We're rolling. Not quite as geared low as what the Model A is, but she's low. Our blinkers are working. Oh, there's second gear. We better turn here. We don't want to get too far away from the house. Can you even hear it running? We got our new dead cat on here, so you might not even be able to hear me talking. I should probably pay attention to what I'm doing. But look, even our speedometer's working. It says we're doing a whole 10 mile an hour, which is pretty good considering. We'll make a quick right up here on Club. Oh, better shift down. Hopefully we don't grind it. Yep, there's a little grind.
Oh, you didn't even see that squirrel back there, did you?
Squirrel?
No.
It's got a little tap going on. I don't know if that's a lifter or it's just not warmed up. So we should probably stop for the stop sign. Brakes are working. Those new back ones we put in are pretty happy. And second gear. Let's see if we can even brave third. That's it. I can't do it. I have to stop. The tachometer meter says we are going super fast. And we're just about back to the street again. So we got up to a whole 25 mile an hour, I think. That's probably enough for it. What we'll do now is I'll back it into the driveway and I'll get my trailer hooked up and load it all down. Hopefully it's done raining because it's been raining for a little while now. I want to check the tap and make sure that it's not something angry. It's got a little lifter tap. Maybe it's an exhaust leak, I don't know. Motor's probably got a trillion miles on it, but it seems to be doing all right. Today was the first time I've ever heard it do any little tappings. So we're backing in, trying not to hit anything. Even though this thing is small, I don't think it's probably a good idea to back it into something. Hey, backup lights must be working. It's lighting up the truck. You can see our deuce and a half. That'll be the next project over there. Got the fender off of her. I hear a U-joint making some racket. Yep, she's gonna need U-joints. It will squirt a little grease in it, so she's squeaking. Might squirt a little grease on them U-joints, making sure that it's not something major. But anyway, that's pretty much. We'll shut her down. That's pretty much going to conclude this 73 CJ-5 project here until the owner wants me to do a little bit more maintenance on that front end. But she's running and driving now, so it's quite a bit happier than it was when we first brought it or took it on. So that's going to be it. We might get a parting shot of it all loaded up on the trailer. But again, I want to thank you all for hanging out with Wrenching with Rob. I'm doing some pretty fun stuff here, at least I think so, and I appreciate everybody watching, and like, share, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Comment if you want to, because I guess that says to YouTube that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, or maybe we're good, or maybe I can get more subscribers. I don't know. I'm just doing this for fun because I like to do it, and hopefully somebody will learn something, or they'll learn what not to do. But thank you very much and have a good one. We'll see you next time.